It's time for our evolution predictions. Now, what do you think of this card overall? How has it been built for you? For me, it's just not so much. It really starts to feel like we are throwing this card together almost out of necessity, and that they could have done a much better job, in my opinion, of building these feuds up to get to this point. So the first thing let's talk about, the women's battle royal match. The winner will go on to get a world title match at Clash in Paris. So I don't expect anybody from NXT to win. Now, who can we see in the battle royal? I think you'll have pretty much all of Raw and SmackDown's roster for the women. On the Legends side, I think you could end up having the spot where Nikki Bella comes out. We have seen her in Royal Rumbles. Because of everything that happened, unfortunately, with Liv Morgan getting injured, that's what I think that was the whole program that they were going to do in this big match. Maybe even Brie Bella coming back. So I think they're going to want to put Nikki Bella in some kind of high profile spot, even within the battle royal. Do I think she would win it? No. Other names, like if we're going to pull Legends, I like to see Mickie James if she came back. Victoria as well. I love to see her. I think they would possibly have like Alundra Blaze come out because she has in previous battle royals or Royal Rumbles. And I'm gonna say Michelle McCool, Undertaker's wife, is gonna get in there, pow drive everybody. But as for our main roster and who I could see winning, they're gonna go to Clash in Paris. So they're either gonna take on the WWE Women's Champion, which could be Jade, it could be Naomi with a cash in, it could be Tiffany. On the World Heavyweight title side, it could be Io Sky, it could be Rhea Ripley. They also have to get through SummerSlam. See, that's part of the thing here. It's like you're skipping ahead, WWE. You're skipping over SummerSlam entirely. A couple of names pop out to me for potential winners here. One, I'm going to say Stephanie Vaquer. Been on TV in a couple of weeks. I think part of that is trying to figure out a program for her. I think they want to put her in a prominent spot on Raw. I think that they've just kind of been biding their time because of all the other events that they have had. Wasn't at Night of Champions. She hasn't had anything else before that. And coming to main roster, she hasn't been in a proper program yet. I think if you want to get Stephanie pretty much launched on the main roster in a big way, because I think they see her as a big deal, give her a title match, Clash in Paris. She's probably like my one pick you get, because then you could have Stephanie going up against either Rhea or Io, and either way, coming after SummerSlam, it'd be an amazing program, amazing match to see. The other name is going to be Bianca. Haven't seen Bianca at all. She's come back like just once or twice, right? With like the finger thing, and she's teasing it up with Jade and Naomi and all of that. And that I think is going to be the ultimate program for Bianca. She returned at Evolution, the Battle Royal, to win the thing. I think it would get a lot of support. I think that fans would be pretty excited if they got Bianca back on TV. You know you're gonna get Jade versus Tiffany at SummerSlam. If you get Bianca to win, then you're kind of teeing up that next program right away for Clash in Paris, which could be Jade versus Bianca. Naomi's got a cash-in attempt there, possibly. There's a lot of factors in there. So those are my two names. So I'm actually going to say that Stephanie Vaquer wins at Evolution. She wins the Battle Royal, because I think it would be a much bigger deal for her as they're trying to establish her. Bianca's already well established. She's won all the belts. And you have that built-in story of Bianca, Jade, and Naomi all waiting there. I don't feel like you need a battle royal for Bianca to tell that story. So I'm gonna say Stephanie Vaquer. She's gonna devil's kiss everybody. Next up, let's look at the women's tag team title match. Now this seems like it's a little thrown together only because of the injury of Liv Morgan, and maybe this is where WWE had to do a little bit of pivoting. But we are gonna get Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez defending their tag team titles against a team from Raw, a team from SmackDown, and a team from NXT. Now, the time I'm recording this, all we know is that on SmackDown, we had Bliss and Charlotte qualify, so they are going to be Team SmackDown going into this thing. Could they do something where it's like Team Raw? I don't know who you have. Could it be the Bellas just show up on again, I'm doing this before Raw. Could the Bellas just show up on Raw together and they're like, we're going in for the tag team title match? Maybe. And NXT, you throw another team there. But if it's going to be all main roster people, so be it. This one is interesting only because of the story of Raquel and Roxanne, and all of Judgment Day having almost all of the gold, right? Except for the world title. I think that having them being tag team champions, I think it's kind of what you want to do. I can see them retaining the tag titles. I think if they hold on to the tag team titles, it does more kind of long-term of building Judgment Day even stronger. And then a little bit of that tension with Raquel of like, well, you're taking the spot of Liv, but we are winning. And I like the dynamics between Raquel and Roxanne. But is that going to happen? I really can see them putting the belts on Bliss and Charlotte. What is the point otherwise? And I don't really think that the build for Bliss and Charlotte has been very great. You have two people that have been in the main event scene, so they're not. So we're gonna put them in a tag team together. So be it. But it feels rushed. It feels like it's not very important. Like people are just kind of like, okay, yeah, you're doing this and you're trying to babyface Charlotte, and that's great. But I don't get like the big appeal of putting the two of them together, probably to ultimately turn on each other, and that could be down the road at Survivor Series or the Rumble. In the meantime, I guess you put the tag team titles on them, because otherwise, if Charlotte and Bliss don't win the tag belts, then what are they doing? Other than, okay, they lost at Evolution and they have to go and fight Secret Service and a few other teams once again to try to build themselves up as a big credible team. And depending on who else gets announced, but right now I'm kind of stuck between titles being retained and titles being flipped over to Bliss and Charlotte. So I am going to say, because WWE is putting emphasis on this story, I think they throw the belts on Bliss and Charlotte, because then on SmackDown, see, there's not many teams. There's not many women's tag teams out there. But at least on SmackDown, you got BFAB, Michin, you've got Secret Service. You got more to work with on SmackDown if you have Charlotte and Bliss with those belts. So I'm going to say Bliss and Charlotte, they pick up the women's tag team titles. And that leaves Raquel and Roxanne to have a little bit more inner turmoil and conflict. And honestly, they could pick up those belts like in 2 months. Next up, we got the NXT Women's Championship match. Jacy Jayne versus Jordynne Grace. Now, I feel like Jordynne Grace is on the cusp of coming up to main roster. Like really soon. I can totally see her on SmackDown. I think they're waiting. And I think that with Jacy Jayne, it's a short-term thing of having her with that NXT title, taking it off of Stephanie Vaquer so she can go to main roster. Jacy Jayne's been good, but I feel like it's a little bit of a temporary thing. You want to have big moments at Evolution. They want to have those big crowning moments. Give Jordynne Grace a title run for a couple of months until she drops it. And maybe it's going to be at the Royal Rumble where she's going to be drafted over to main roster and she kind of kicks off Mania season that way, going from NXT to SmackDown, let's say. I think the match is going to be great. I'm excited for this one because I think they can put on a really good match, but I am going to say that Jordynne Grace is going to pick up the Women's NXT Championship. Newly announced match, triple threat. Becky Lynch, your Intercontinental Champion, versus Bayley versus Lyra. They are doing this match at Evolution, which I thought was a little surprising that they would just go ahead with the triple threat. I thought maybe they would just do like a Becky Bayley one-on-one and have that, or redo the number one contendership of Lyra and Bayley and do that at Evolution. Funny thing too, they're actually giving more matches to Evolution than they do a normal PLE. Maybe you should do that more, WWE. I like having 6-7 matches on a card. It rounds it out a little bit better. Makes it feel more full. But for this triple threat, I am going to say that Becky Lynch is going to retain because I think it just furthers the story. To me, it makes it more interesting to see Bayley and Lyra continue feuding and building that animosity between each other, while Becky kind of eats the rewards of being champion and seeing the two of them just taking each other out week after week. We saw that on Raw between Bayley and Lyra, and I think that you're going to get more of that in this triple threat. Also, because it's a triple threat, that means no holds barred. Like anything goes in a triple threat. So I think you can get like table spots, kendo sticks, things like that. And you see Bayley and Lyra kind of cost each other the match. And then Becky just swoops in and gets the pinfall. That's what I can, like, honestly, I can see it where it's going to be maybe Bayley gets chucked out of the ring by Becky and Becky just slides over to Lyra, pins her, and that's the end of that. Then they could set up another match between the three of them going into, say, SummerSlam, and then change the rules a little bit. It'd be kind of cool if they did something different, like it was a ladder match, triple threat ladder match at SummerSlam, or a Hell in a Cell. But I do think Becky's going to retain here. Now, the next match is just put together, a slap together on SmackDown. It was very quickly. I did not see it coming. Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus, one-on-one at Evolution for the WWE Women's Championship. Now let's go through this match, ladies and gentlemen. If you can help me out, help Matt out here. Hello. I was wondering if you guys could hit the subscribe button because we're trying to get to 50,000 subs by the time we get to SummerSlam. And I see in the stats on YouTube that we have like over 50% of people watch the show, but then we don't hit subscribe. So if you can, that's great. That's awesome. Hit the like button, all that good stuff. So Tiffany versus Trish, it's just so mashed together in one night. Why didn't they build this thing for 3 weeks? The thing is, coming out of WrestleMania, Tiffany hasn't done anything. She's had a match in a program again with Nia Jax. The match was good, the last one was standing, but that was recently. Otherwise, she hasn't been doing a whole heck of a lot. I feel like WWE has this problem with some of its champions when they have done this. Like last year, Bayley won the belt, and then they did nothing post-Mania with Bayley. I feel like Tiffany's in the same boat right now. And in one night, in 1 week, you just brought Trish Stratus out there, and you're like, surprise, Trish, you're going to get a title match. It didn't make a lick of sense, and I thought the promo, like the whole interaction, I thought it was a little stiff and a little awkward. I don't get what they're doing. You got Jade still in the ring because she's queen of the ring. So very, very slapped together. Like, especially you had Nikki Bella on TV on Raw weeks ago trying to build a match or a program with Liv, and I think that could have been something very cool. Why wouldn't you have brought Trish out 3 weeks ago to try and build this thing or do something? Because you had them do a tag team match at Elimination Chamber. They're both good guys. Why not have it where Nia teams with Candice or somebody else at this point, and they start taking down Tiffany and then enter in Trish? They can do another tag team match, and then it leads to Tiffany saying, Trish, I'll grant you a title match at Evolution. At least there you would have some sense of it, of like, you've helped me out a lot. How about you get a title shot against me? But they didn't do any of that. It just feels it's an excuse to get Trish on the card. And I love Trish, and I'd love to see her on the card. She should be at Evolution. And you know what? Having the title match would be great if there was a build. So because there's no build, I'm really just kind of like whatever with this. Tiffany Stratton's going to retain, and I think you could have Naomi cash in. It depends how they want to treat Evolution. If they want it to be a big, great celebration with a lot of twists and turns going into SummerSlam, and SummerSlam's only a couple of weeks away, but if they want to do something really cool here, you could have Naomi cash in and win. Then you were going to set up Naomi versus Jade at SummerSlam. A cash in at Evolution, I think, is also kind of fitting because there's also the men's Money in the Bank, which Seth could cash in. We don't know, but he could cash in at SummerSlam. And I don't think WWE wants to do 2 cash-ins at SummerSlam. If you space them out, you give Naomi that cash in at Evolution, she walks out, and I can see it too. Just Naomi sneaking in and grabbing that championship. Pyro goes off, all of that, and you get a big shocking moment at the show. So right now, Tiffany retains for me, and there's going to be a cash-in attempt. Could it be stopped by Bianca, who comes out, makes her return, gets in the way? But I don't see Tiffany and Jade at SummerSlam as the match. Do you? I feel like there isn't going to be enough heat there. I don't see the two of them kind of clicking on the mic and building something that's going to be really interesting other than waiting for Naomi to do the cash-in. So earlier in the night, so that brings us to the next match, because earlier in the night, I suspect, before the Tiffany match, I suspect we get Jade versus Naomi, which is a no-holds-barred match between the two. So this is why, with the order of things in the match card, depending on how it all shakes out, I can see Jade and Naomi going up before the Tiffany-Trish match. And because it's no-holds-barred, you could end up with Jade beating Naomi, and I think that's kind of my prediction here. Jade's going to go over because she's queen of the ring. You need to keep Jade strong as you possibly can going into the title match. So to give her a good win, you have her beat Naomi, you do some table, it's going to be all ads, right? It's going to be just a flaming table. It's going to be a slim gymmed up kendo sticks left and right. But I think you get Jade to go over on Naomi, kind of surprising everybody because she's missed Money in the Bank. But if you have Naomi lose, she kind of quietly disappears and for the night. And then later in the night, you have the Tiffany Trish match, and that's where maybe you see Naomi pop up again. Jade, I think she wins the no-holds-barred match because I think she actually is going to need it as she gets into SummerSlam. And then what could be your main event? Io Sky defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Rhea Ripley. Now, what do you think about this? For me, it feels very kind of like Trish and Tiffany. Feels a little slapped together because we just had it built on Raw where Rhea comes out and they're buddies and they're just agreeing to have a title match. And that's where I feel like Evolution itself is having a problem. Things not being properly built. Also, because you're doing Rhea and Io, you've had like several months to build this thing. You could have built something really cool going into Evolution because Io hasn't had any matches. She hasn't had any programs coming out of WrestleMania. They did the tag team stuff with Io and Rhea. They teased it there post-Mania, and then they never touched it. So now Rhea's just coming out to say, let's have a friendly match. Now, in ring, I don't doubt that this is going to be great. I think it will be a great match. We've seen them put on great matches together, and this will probably deliver at a high level. So the in-ring is not an issue here. I just wish there was more story given to us. Question mark is, what does WWE do? You can't have title changes happening left and right like everybody. If it's like Jordynne Grace is going to win, if Naomi cashes in and wins the title, are you going to have like 3 tag team titles? Like, are all these title belts really going to change at Evolution? Probably not. Do you have it the ending moment where it's going to be Io standing tall over Rhea Ripley, Pyro going off, and she's holding up the world title over Rhea Ripley? If Io wins, I think it's a good story for Rhea because Rhea has spent since Mania trying to get the belt and she hasn't been able to do it. Now, do I think Rhea turns heel at all? No. I think the crowd loves her too much, very much like Cody. I don't think they do anything to Rhea's character, but I do think that they need to have some new wrinkle in there where Rhea is going to chase for the belt. If Io retains, you got to have something else in there from Rhea Ripley. And where does she go next? Is she going to get into a title program at SummerSlam? Will it become Io versus Asuka versus Rhea at SummerSlam? And Rhea showing more desperation to try and get the title, like she did building up to WrestleMania. So it's very possible Io just retains because Rhea can't get the job done. And there's a little bit of the doubt and self-confidence issue that maybe they could play into a little bit more. And that would help, I think, flush out Rhea's character a little bit more at this point, this stage in the game. Alternatively, you could have Rhea Ripley just win the belt. And I say that and I laugh because it just seems like such an obvious thing for WWE to do. You want a big moment at your show, you end it with Rhea Ripley, who's arguably their top star, biggest babyface, having her holding up the belt, stand on the stage with Triple H and everybody, and they do all the whole thing where everybody comes out and claps, and you have Rhea holding up the belt. They want to do a big women's celebration. I think that's how you do it. And then you can have a rematch going to SummerSlam if they want to, but now Rhea's champion, fight Io, maybe Asuka, maybe something new. Then you're going to get Stephanie Vaquer in Matt's mind. If she wins the Battle Royal, you might get Rhea versus Stephanie in Clash in Paris. There's a lot of options. I kind of say right now, I don't know about you. I need you guys to comment below. Let me know your predictions. I'm going to say Rhea wins. A lot of title changes. It's probably not all going to happen, but I can't bet against Rhea Ripley. And they also just haven't on TV. They haven't done anything interesting with Io. She's really over. And it'd be great to see her in programs, but she's not in anything. So I'm going to say Rhea Ripley is going to win. And those are your Evolution predictions. But if you want to talk about other predictions and what we could see, click this video right here because we're going through Seth Rollins' Plan B. What the heck is all of that? What it could mean for SummerSlam. Have a great day. See ya.